happy yogis. Here's a half-hour seated class for us. We're starting in a seated position with the spine as long as it can grow. Crown of the head reaching up toward the ceiling. Shoulders and backs of the elbows are relaxed. Fingers relaxed. And see if you can connect to the ease of the flow of the breath. First, we're going to keep that sternum lifting as the chin comes down to the chest, and then allow the chin to go from side to side. I'm allowing the head to be a little bit forward so I can get a stretch on the back of the neck. If this action makes you dizzy, keep your head up and simply look right to left. Everybody's keeping the sternum lifting as the head in some fashion goes from side to side. And for those of us with the chin down, let's go ahead and lift up the chin for a few rounds of seated cat-cow. I'm turning my direction so that you can see that I'm rounding the spine, hunching my shoulders forward, dropping the chin into the chest, getting a good C curve in the back of the spine, and then drawing the navel forward, the chest forward, the elbows back, and the chin lifts a bit. And back and forth at a nice, slow, calming, steady pace. You know that you don't have to follow my pace. If you feel like you want to go a little bit faster, go ahead. And if you want to go a little bit slower than I do, maybe that is more indicated for your body today. You'll see that my hands are kind of riding back and forth on my thighs. And I don't have a death grip on my thighs. I'm really letting the hands go back and forth. Maybe the heels of the hands can go back and forth. And really trying to articulate through each of your vertebrae. You can do this with your eyes closed or your gaze soft. And the next time the navel comes forward, let's go ahead and reach the arms out to the sides. Go ahead and flex the wrists as best you can and let the head go from side to side. Really press energy out through the palms of your hands as best you can. Coming back to center, let's come into cactus pose with the arms. Spread the fingers and the palms mightily and dip the elbow down on one side and then the other. Make sure you feel really rooted in your seat as you dip from side to side. And coming back through center, we'll reach the arms up overhead and bring them back down. And reaching up and bring them down. And reach, and down, and reach, and down. And one last time, reach the arms up. Let them come down. Then bring the arms all the way down. And act as if you're flicking a little moisture off of your fingers. Back and forth. I know this is difficult for some of you. Just do your best with this action. And then with the wrists in a neutral position, go ahead and turn them in and out. You can do this activity from the shoulders or just from the wrists. Yogi's choice, depending on how your shoulders feel today. And try to keep that sternum lifting and the spine long as you do this movement. we'll bring the hands forward to rest on your lap. Shrug up your shoulders a few times. I'm doing both shoulders at the same time to start, and then we'll alternate one shoulder at a time. Okay, and let that go. Try to release the energy and that tension from the tops of your shoulders, the base of your neck. And we're going to take either our 3 longest fingers, holding down the pinky finger with a thumb, or if that's hard for you, you're just going to use the heel of your hand. Again, sit up nice and tall. I'm using my right hand first, turning my head toward the right as far as I can, leaving that left shoulder back, and then I place either the 3 long fingers on my cheekbone or the heel of your hand. And go ahead and set up a little bit of isometric tension there so that the head is trying to turn back, but the hand or fingers are not allowing that to happen. Let the jaw be slack, let the gaze be soft, and let the breath flow as you hold this energy in the neck. And if this is your first time doing this, please follow my instructions. Those of you who have done this before know where we're going with this. You keep your forehead and your head right where it is. Just take the fingers away or the hand away and see if you can look back any further. Does your neck have a little bit more stretch to it? And then come back to center, and we'll practice on the second side. Either the 3 longest fingers are up, thumb holding down the pinky finger, or using the heel of the hand. Sit up straight and tall. Leave the shoulders facing the screen. Turn the head as far as you can comfortably go. No pain, no strain. And then go ahead and either place the fingers or the heel of the hand on that cheekbone. Be sure to not be on the temple, but on that skeleton of the skull, part of it anyway, on that cheekbone, and then set up a little isometric tension. The tension should be noticeable, but soft enough that there's still that ease of the flow of the breath. Maybe you can incorporate a small smile on the inside edges of your lips. Steady breath in and a steady breath out as the fingers are holding, holding, holding. And then don't move the head, but let the hand come down and see if the head will go any further back. And come back to center, and we'll let the head go from side to side. Really stretching the sides of the neck. Alternating right and left. And we'll bring the head back to center, feeling really comfortable in your seat. And let's practice making the length of the inhale the same length as the exhale. You can do that just with your body intelligence, or perhaps you will count. Inhaling for 3 and exhaling for 3. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And now see if you can make the exhale longer than the inhale. Inhaling and a nice long exhale. And last time. And we'll either, for next, I'm going to scoot my hips forward a little bit. I know some of you are not able to do that, but we're all going to draw our elbows back to the best of our ability. Some of you will be able to hold the wrist behind the back to really help pull the shoulders back. And whatever it takes for you to get your shoulders back, go ahead and keep them there and then drop the chin down toward the chest. And we're holding this pose for a few moments. Last full breath. And go ahead and raise up the chin. We'll bring the arms forward, just feeling for that after effect. There might be a little tingling sensation. And let's draw the right shoulder up as the right ear comes towards that shoulder. Some of you might actually be able to touch ear to shoulder. We're holding that, make sure the chin is lifting. And then drop the shoulder down, lift the head back to neutral. Let's bring the left shoulder up, drop the ear over to that side, and we're holding this activity. What we're doing is we're exhausting those muscles around the neck that are in the shoulder, that are holding that shoulder up, and then slowly let it come down and let the head come back to neutral. And one more time, right shoulder up, right ear toward the shoulder, holding that energy up. And now leave that shoulder raised and let the head come up, and very, very slowly let the shoulder come down. And we'll practice that on the second side. Just see how you feel right and left, if there's a little bit of difference. Left shoulder comes up, ear comes towards the shoulder. We're holding the pose, but letting the breath flow. And holding that shoulder up as long as you can. I know this takes a lot of unusual energy. Keep the shoulder up as the head comes up, and then very, very slowly, I know some of you are better at this than I am, releasing that shoulder down. Now let's bring the arms back and circle them around. And we're doing this a few times with this energy of the arms and the shoulders. If this is hard for you to do and one of your shoulders is really cranky, you can either do one arm or you can make much smaller circles. Doing this is okay. Yogi's choice how big the circles are that you're making. And when you get to a good spot, let's reverse the direction of those big circles. And maybe big for you looks like this. We don't always have to go to end range of this movement. And in fact, if you're one of those people that like to go all the way in, try making your circles a little bit smaller and just see how that feels. It's all good. It's kind of like any movement at all is good. One last time if you can do it. I know that some of you, your shoulders are getting kind of tired. Let's bring the fingers up. Go ahead and wriggle the fingers and then turn at the wrists. You can hold your elbows up higher if you'd like, but holding them down low is fine too. Getting that action of your wrists. And then we'll drop the arms down, but flex the wrists up and return them down. And flex up and then back in. Going back and forth, really feeling that stretch for your wrists. And a few more times. And let's finally bring the hands onto your lap so we can lean from side to side, giving the arms a bit of a break, starting to do a little bit more of waking up of the torso. You can either be doing this like a pendulum, keeping your spine nice and straight and long, or maybe some of you would like to start dropping an elbow down toward the side so the spine gets in this alternative C curve. Before, when we were doing cat-cow, we were curving in a different direction. Now we're doing it laterally. And one more time to each side. Hopefully those arms are getting a good break, because next we're coming up, bringing the arms out to the sides and circling the arms around. See if you can feel the sensation on the upper back body as the scapula slides a little bit to make this action happen. If you're not feeling it, try to make your circles back a little bit further if you can. And then we'll reverse the direction of the circles. Feel if you can get the inside edge of your shoulder blades, same thing as scapula, kind of hugging in toward the spine. Just a few more times if you can do it. Hang in there. And drop the arms down to give the shoulders a bit of a break. I know that's a lot of work. And we're not done yet. Arms out to the sides again, leaning from right to left, as if you're really trying to lean to the wall on the right side and then lean to the wall on the left side. Back and forth, knowing when to put the brake on, B-R-A-K-E, so that you don't lean too far. That requires a lot of body intelligence. Okay, and coming back to center, let's float the arms down, and with straight or straight-ish arms, go ahead and shrug the shoulders up and down a few times, doing this with fewest fibers fired. How little energy can you use to do this? I know there's some energy for sure. We're using as little energy as possible. And 2 more times, up and down. And finally, you get to take a rest. I have a reading today from John O'Donoghue's book called To Bless the Space Between Us. This is called For Equilibrium. Like the joy of the sea coming home to the shore, may the relief of laughter rinse through your soul. As the wind loves to call things to dance, may your gravity be lightened by grace. Like the dignity of moonlight restoring the earth, may your thoughts incline with reverence and respect. As water takes whatever shape it is in, so free may you be about who you become. As silence smiles on the other side of what's said, may your sense of irony bring perspective. As time remains free of all that it frames, may your mind stay clear of all that it names. May your prayer of listening deepen enough to allow your empathy for all you hold dear. Okay, we got a little break, little food for our minds. And we're going to reach the arms up to the ceiling as best you can. I know some of you have a lot of movement in your shoulders. Some of you might look like this, maybe like this. Those who can will really reach up to the ceiling. And drop the hands down to heart center and bow forward a bit and back. And it's not important how far you come forward. Those of you who can have your hips a little bit further forward in your chairs are going to try to get your shoulders behind your hips And you'll feel that abdominal wall has to come in and make that happen for you, really to hold you there. Again, that famous yogic break. Going back and forth a few times. And then we're going to drop our hands down toward the side to repeat the cat-cow action. We did this earlier. The arms are down to the sides, and see how much you can let your arms be at rest as you find some movement in your spine. And try not to just repeat the same movement over and over, although that is what it may look like. But we're trying to do each time we do this as kind of a refresh button. Like, is there something that you can notice every time you do this? Either going a little deeper or not going so deep. So you keep it interesting for yourself. And finally, coming all the way up, we'll bring the arms out to the sides, and again, rounding the back, reaching the arms forward. Feel the scapula separating on the back, getting that big stretch, and then open up the arms, the chest beams up, and chin lifts a bit. Back and forth at a nice, slow, steady pace. And finally, go ahead and bring the hands down onto the lap. And we haven't done very much twisting. Let's start with the hands together at heart center. Twist a little to each side. And you hear me say this so many times. Try not to let the momentum of the movement pull you around into the twist, but instead really use the strength of the body, the strength especially of the torso to twist from side to side. In yoga, there are things called binds, and that usually indicates where we're using a part of the body to help pull us a little bit further into a twist. Well, this is a little bit like a bind because the way we're rooted in our chairs helps the hips stay very steady, strong, and still as we twist around that action of the stillness of the hips. That's a lot of twisting. Let's see if we can do a little bit more. If you're getting exhausted, don't go so deep. Just don't go quite as far. And finally, let's bring that to center, holding the hips and lean from side to side. We're like playing the torso like an accordion. I like that image. I have a friend who plays the accordion, so I always think of Dawn when I do these tilts from side to side. So when one side gets very long and the other side gets all cinched up. Keeping that suppleness of our spines. And finally, coming back to center. I know some of your cores are very strong, and that might not have felt like a lot of work, especially now that we're warmed up. Okay, with the hands on the lap, we're going to do a little bit more pranayama, a little bit more breath work. We're going to take a very deep inhale and then exhale for 4 seconds to start. So deep inhale, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, and exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to have a longer exhale. So deep inhale. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get all that air out. Inhale. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last time. Inhale. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let the breath return to normal. Just see how your lungs feel, how the state of your mind is. We have a little bit more movement work to do. With the hand resting, let's take left arm up, reaching toward the right. Retract that arm in, bring it back to the lap. Right arm up, reaching toward the left, and retract that arm in, and it settles down. Back and forth at a nice, slow, thoughtful pace. And we'll do 2 more to each side if you can do it. I know this is a lot of work, but I want you to get strong. If you need to take a break, you all know it's fine to take a break. This is the beauty of doing a video. You really can do totally whatever you want. But in class, we really should not have judgment about one another, but a lot of empathy and loving kindness. That's the yogic way. Fingers up on top of the elbows. Either lift the elbows up to shoulder height or keep them down, yogi's choice. And let's go back to a slow twist from side to side. And coming back to center, we'll let the blood come down to the fingertips for just a few moments. And then we're going to give ourselves a very gentle hug. Now, look for your fingertips to be touching somewhere around the back seam of the sleeve of your shirt. And then lift and lower the elbows. Now, I know for some of you this may be painful because the upper arm bone really can pinch that area of the biceps tendons in the front. So if you just do little lifts, that's totally fine. I understand. Okay, the next time the elbows come down, let's change the arm that's on top and don't have a really tight hug. I know you all love yourselves, or you should, or maybe should isn't a good word. I hope you love yourselves, but it doesn't matter how much you're hugging. Keep it nice and loose so that there can be a little bit more mobility in the arms, rising and lowering those elbows. And finally, the arms come down, and let's hang the arms down to the sides and flutter the fingers as best you can. And keep the thumbs involved too, maybe a little rotation of the thumbs. And having the feet planted on something, we're coming forward to brace the right arm over the lower legs and reach the left arm up. You all hear me say this. When that left arm goes up, really reach up. So you're taking a little bit of energy off of your lower right arm. It still stays connected, so there's a little bit of a brace there for this pose, but we're not sinking down into the legs. Go ahead and bring that left arm down, and we'll come over to the second side. First, the arm is down, right arm reaches up, and then really reach up. See what extension you can get out of that arm. Keep the even flow of breath. And then bring that arm down and everything comes back to bring the arms into cactus pose for a little bit more twisting from side to side. If you're getting tired, please make your twists small or don't do them at all. It's fine to take a break. And then back to center, we're going to really lift the sternum and pulse the elbows back. Getting a really big stretch on the pectoral muscles and that kind of squeezing in of the shoulder blades on the spine. Just try to keep the palms open if you can. And then bringing the hands all the way down. We'll let the head look from right to left, trying for all the action to be happening from the collarbones up. So the shoulders are staying quite still. Maybe after all the twisting we've done, that feels mighty good. And coming back to center, and I'm going to rock from side to side, but I'm unweighting one hip. I'm not going to topple over, but I'm just really unweighting that hip. Some of you might be able to lean enough that I could slip a piece of paper underneath your hip that you're lifting. For some of you, that's not a good move. You know who you are. That can be a little too dangerous to go that far. But still, even if the hip isn't coming up, there's still kind of an unweighting action that happens. And finally, coming back to center. Connecting again with that flow of the breath. We'll bring the hands together at heart center, Anjali Mudra. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze. May we feel protected and safe. May our hearts remain open. May we awaken to the light of our true nature. May we be healed and be a source of healing for the world. Namaste. And come back up. If you took a bow, you can bring your hands down. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing this video all the way to the end. I hope you feel like the breath is flowing a little bit more easily after this class.